Hi guys, I'm in Sokcho right now. Check this out. Beautiful oceans, mountains. It's gorgeous, right? I'm actually out here on a solo trip. It's been 7 years since my last one, and I distinctly remember saying back then, I'm never traveling alone ever again. So, how did I end up back here and by myself after 7 long years? When I turned 20, I was so pumped and excited. I felt like it was finally my chance to step out into the real world and find my true self after being cooped up in school for so long. I mean, think about it. I spent every single day from morning to night just checking off the right answers from textbooks, while my own thoughts were totally ignored. But then I could finally live as me. So I headed straight to Busan for a 3 day solo trip. It was my very first time traveling alone. I'm the type of person who loves giving meaning to everything I start, so I asked myself, what am I trying to get out of this trip to Busan? And I answered, finding my true self. I thought it would be the perfect chance to spend some quality time alone, have deep conversation with my inner self, and finally find the real me that had been hidden behind all my relationship with other people. Back then, I think I really believed my true self was tucked away somewhere deep under the sea at Haeundae Beach. Anyway, I went to Busan, had some kukbap, took a cruise, and had tea at pretty cafe. But then I thought, forget finding myself. This is just way too boring. I spent some time thinking about who I am as a person. Like, what do I love? What do I really want? But I realized I didn't actually learn any of those things from the trip. It was just the same version of me that I always think about anyway. I already know who I am. I know what I like and what I want. But that wasn't some new discovery I made while traveling. It was just my usual self. Everything I feel in the moment, my thoughts, my values, and what I believe is right. That was my old self all along. Ironically, I came back from this trip to find myself feeling like the self isn't actually that big of a deal. My self is just whatever I feel and experience in every single moment. I realized there was no point in coming all the way to Busan for 3 days just to sit there being bored alone. But that doesn't mean the trip was the worst. I've always questioned who I am and how I exist. I've always had those existential worries. This boring trip taught me that I don't need to be defined by clear terms. I'm just a being that is just existing in every moment. You don't find your true self, just create it. It isn't like yourself is some ancient relic hidden away waiting to be dug up like Indiana Jones. Who you are is exactly what you feel in every single moment. Every emotion, perspective, and my own sense of truth in the moment. All of that is my true self. Listen, if you bought a plane ticket to India thinking yourself is waiting for you there, think again. You really think yourself is just chilling in India? No. Even if you go to India, you're still just going to be you. So seriously, if finding yourself is your only goal, you might end up regretting it. But if you're going there just to eat some butter chicken, now that might be a pretty sweet choice. Anyway, if you wanna know yourself better, don't spend too much time trying to define who you are right now. Instead, focus on the kind of life you wanna lead and how you wanna live, and then just keep moving toward it. I think that's what really matters. Anyway, back then I was so disappointed with solo travel that I thought, I'm just not built for this. I told myself I would never travel alone again. I even thought that realization was a piece of my true self that I discovered on the trip. But look at me now, 7 years later, and I'm here in Sokcho all by myself. See? That version of me wasn't permanent after all. When I look back at my 20-year-old self, nothing I like or thought back then matches who I am today. My life is now is something I never could have predicted. But that is not a bad thing. I have had so many experiences, my perspective has widened, I have gotten smarter, and everything has just gotten so much better. So now I finally get it. Tommy 20 years from now will probably be totally different from anything I can imagine today. My younger self right now can't even begin to predict it. My current personality, my values, and myself will definitely not stay the same forever. I think I will just keep getting better in ways I can't even imagine yet. Don't try so hard to find yourself. Who you are isn't a physical object, so it isn't fixed and it's not permanent. Try to step outside of the version of you that you've already defined. In physics, atoms are mostly empty space, and our bodies are made up of those atoms. You see where I'm going with this? Buddhism also says there is no fixed self and that we are all empty beings. There is no such things as being just this way and never changing. If you define yourself that way, you might be blocking your own endless possibility for growth. It's the same with past wounds. Stop thinking that because you were hurt before, it has to control you forever. Why not to try to let go of that too? Just thinking of yourself as an empty being. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine that everything inside you is empty. Live each moment by letting go and emptying yourself out. Then you can fill that space with new possibilities. Meeting a new side of yourself that you never knew exists is going to be pretty exciting. That's exactly why I believe people are capable of changing. But here is the key part. We can't change other people. What really matters is changing from the inside, not the outside. Because this is just a shell and we are being that live from within. It doesn't matter how much you poke from the outside if the inside stays the same. The change has to come from deep within your own heart. So changing yourself is actually easy, while changing someone else is incredibly hard. No matter how much you try, a person will change when they have a realization of their own. And we both know that it's out of our hands. Don't waste your energy trying to change other people. Anyway, I didn't come here to find myself. I'm just here because I wanted to meditate by the ocean. Meditating in nature has always been on my bucket list. Whew. You don't have to struggle to find yourself, but I think it is good to keep questioning your life and enjoy the process of figuring out. That is how you expand your life. Just go with the flow and do what you love. Follow your curiosity. That is what finding yourself really means. Just live every moment as you. That's it.